The bright lights of the USS Horizon's bridge reflected off Captain Eric Hudson's forehead as he stared at the view screen. Sweat formed despite the cool air. Today was the day humanity would meet aliens for the first time. Real, living aliens. Status. Report, Eric said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. Lieutenant John Martinez tapped at his console. The Centauri ship is holding position, sir. They've accepted our communication protocols. Dr. Amanda Powell stood nearby, clutching her tablet. As the ship's lead xenobiologist, she had spent years preparing for this moment. Remember, Captain, the Centauri communicate partly through color shifts on their skin. Any sudden movements might be misinterpreted. Eric nodded. 5 years of space exploration had led to this moment. In 2157, humanity had pushed beyond their solar system with new faster-than-light technology. And within 2 years, they detected signals from the Centauri, a species that dominated 3 star systems. Open the channel, Eric ordered. The view screen changed to show 3 tall, slender beings with bluish skin and large, dark eyes. Their bodies seemed to shimmer with subtle color patterns. This is Captain Eric Hudson of the United Earthship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship. The center alien's skin pulsed with yellow patterns as it spoke in a musical voice. The computer translated, I am First Speaker Telnek of the Centauri Collective. We welcome new species to the galactic community. The meeting started well. Both sides shared basic cultural information. The Centauri explained they were part of a larger group called the Unified Species Council, or USC, with over 30 different alien species working together. We wish to invite humanity to send representatives to the council, Telnek said, his skin now glowing with soft blue patterns. Eric smiled. We would be honored. Perhaps we could arrange a formal delegation to... Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the horizon. Captain, we have a security breach in Shuttle Bay 2, Martinez called out. Eric frowned. This is not the time, Lieutenant. Handle it quietly. I can't, sir. Someone is trying to access our weapons systems from a remote terminal. The Centauri's skin changed instantly to deep red. You hide weapons during a peace meeting? Telnek's voice turned harsh. No, this is a misunderstanding, Eric said quickly. We have standard defensive systems only. Someone unauthorized is... Deception! The Centauri delegation's skin pulsed with angry red patterns. This confirms our intelligence reports about humans. Dr. Powell stepped forward. Please understand, this is a misunderstanding. In our culture, red coloration often signals danger, or warning, not aggression. But the translation seemed to make things worse. The Centauri delegation began talking rapidly among themselves, their skin flashing in patterns too quick for the computer to translate. Sir, Martinez whispered urgently, we've contained the breach, but I'm picking up energy readings from the Centauri ship. They're powering weapons. Eric raised his hands in a calming gesture. First Speaker Telnek, please. We mean no harm. This is a simple security issue that... A beam of energy shot from the Centauri ship, striking the Horizon's shields. Shields holding at 80%, called the tactical officer. Do not return fire, Eric ordered firmly. Keep trying to communicate. Dr. Powell frantically adjusted the translation system. There must be a cultural context we're missing. Try showing submission postures. Eric lowered his head and spread his arms. We apologize for any misunderstanding. We seek only peaceful contact. For a moment it seemed to work. The red pulsing on Telnek's skin slowed. But then one of the other Centauri said something that didn't translate, and all 3 aliens backed, away from their screen. Captain, they're charging weapons again, Martinez called. Maintain shields. Do not fire, Eric repeated. The second blast was stronger, rocking the ship. Shields at 50%, reported the tactical officer. Sir, one more hit like that and we'll have hull breaches. Eric made a difficult decision. Prepare to retreat. Set course back to Earth space. Captain, Dr. Powell said urgently, if we leave now, they'll think we're hostile. The consequences for future contact could be, if we stay, we might not have a future at all. Eric cut her off. Lieutenant Martinez, take us out of here, maximum speed. As the horizon turned away, the Cetari fired again, this time hitting one of the engine sections. The ship shuddered violently. Direct hit to port. Engine housing. We have a radiation leak. The engineer shouted over the comms. Eric gripped his chair. Return fire, minimal force, target their weapon systems only. The Horizon fired a precisely calculated shot that disabled the Cetari ship's main weapon. Then, with its remaining engines, the Earthship jumped to faster-than-light speed. 3 days later, the damaged Horizon limped back to Earth. The news was grim. Long-range sensors detected multiple alien ships entering the solar system. They were not Cetari vessels, but larger ships bearing the markings of the USC. In an emergency meeting at United Earth headquarters in Geneva, Eric gave his report to the assembled leaders. The diplomatic mission failed, he said simply. And now we face the judgment of a galactic council we know almost nothing about. Dr. Powell stepped forward. From the data we gathered, the Cetari interpreted our security alert as proof we were planning an attack. But there's something else. She displayed data on the main screen. Before communications broke down completely, I captured this transmission between the Cetari ship and another vessel outside our sensor range. The translation was rough but clear enough. Humans show resistance to influence. Proceed with containment protocol. Martinez, who had been analyzing the ship's logs, added his findings. Sir, during the security breach, someone was trying to download specific information about human brain patterns and neural resistance. It wasn't a random hack. The Earth president looked grim. You're suggesting they provoked this incident deliberately? Can't prove it, Martinez replied. But the timing is suspicious. And why would a diplomatic vessel have weapons ready so quickly? Before anyone could respond, a message came through on all communication channels. A stern alien face appeared on screens worldwide. Not Cetari, but something older and more imposing. People of Earth, the alien said, I am High Counselor Vrek of the Unified Species Council. Due to your unprovoked attack on a Cetari diplomatic vessel, resulting in the deaths of 3 Cetari representatives, the USC hereby places Earth and all human settlements under quarantine. No human vessels are permitted to leave your solar system. Any attempt to violate this quarantine will be met with immediate force. The transmission ended, leaving stunned silence. Deaths? Eric whispered. We disabled their weapons only. We didn't. Dr. Powell looked at her data again. The radiation, leak from our engine. Cetari are extremely sensitive to that specific type of radiation. Our defensive action may have killed them unintentionally. The president stood slowly. Then it's done. Humanity's first contact has ended with us being labeled as dangerous killers. Sir, Martinez spoke up. There's one more thing. He displayed a small data file he had managed to extract during the encounter. This was in their restricted files. It's a list of species, most names we don't recognize. But look at the title. Everyone leaned forward to read the heading. Species with natural immunity to guidance. The president frowned. What does that mean? Dr. Powell's face paled. It means we might have been judged dangerous before we even met them. And not because of what we did, but because of what we are, Eric finished quietly. Outside, the skies above Earth filled with alien ships, establishing the quarantine that would change humanity's path forever. 5 years passed since Earth was placed under quarantine by the Unified Species Council. Humanity had changed in that time. Fear of alien attack pushed science forward faster than ever before. New weapons, stronger ships, and better defenses were built all across the solar system. Lisa Carter wiped grease from her hands as she looked at her creation. The engine hummed with a soft blue glow in her workshop on Mars Colony. Is it ready? Asked General Paul Wright, who had traveled from Earth just to see her work. Lisa nodded. It's ready. This propulsion system is 3 times faster than anything we had before. Twice as fast as the alien ships watching our system. The general walked around the engine, careful not to touch it. And you're sure it works? I've tested smaller versions. This one will work too. Lisa had spent most of the past 5 years working on this project. Her dark hair was streaked with gray now, though she was only 35. Good, because we need every advantage we can get. The general handed her a data pad. Latest images from our deep space probes. The USC has doubled their patrol ships around our system. Lisa frowned as she looked at the images. They're still afraid of us after all this time? Seems like it. Or they're planning something worse than quarantine. Far from Mars on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, William Grant sat alone in a small listening post. His job was to monitor alien communications, trying to learn more about the species that had cut Earth off from the rest of the galaxy. William had been doing this job for 3 years. It was lonely work. Most days he heard nothing useful. But today was different. His computer beeped as it caught a transmission between 2 alien ships. The translation program turned the strange sounds into English words. Human containment protocol has been successful. No ships have attempted to break quarantine in the past 30 days. Good. The Council grows concerned about their weapons development. These humans advance too quickly. Do we proceed to Phase 2? William leaned closer to his screen, eyes wide. Yes. The architects have approved. Begin preparations for the Mavrocks. Solution. The transmission ended. William sat back, heart racing. The Mavrock solution? What was that? He searched his database but found nothing. He needed to report this to Earth Command immediately. 3 days later, William Grant stood in a secure meeting room at Earth Command headquarters in Geneva. General Wright was there, along with several other military leaders and scientists. Lisa Carter had been called in as well. "Play the transmission again," ordered General Wright. William tapped his datapad and the alien conversation filled the room once more. When it finished, the room was silent. "What is the Mavrock solution?" asked a colonel. "We don't know," William admitted. "But I found something else." He displayed another image on the main screen. "This is from our deep space archives. Before the quarantine, we received this image from a probe exploring near Alpha Centauri. The image showed what looked like a dead planet, gray and lifeless. This was Mavrock's prime, according to old Centauri data we captured during the first contact. It was home to a species called the Mavrocks. According to the limited information we have, they were quarantined by the USC 300 years ago. Now their planet looks like this." The room grew even quieter. "You think they're planning to do this to Earth?" General Wright asked. "I think we need to find out more," William said. "And soon." Lisa stepped forward. "My new engine could help with that. We could send a small ship past the quarantine line, fast enough that they couldn't catch it." The general nodded slowly. "A stealth mission to learn more about this threat." He turned to William. "Would you be willing to go? You know more about their communications than anyone." William nodded without hesitation. "Yes, sir. I should go too," Lisa said. "The engine will need monitoring on its first real flight." 2 weeks later, a small ship called the Defiance was ready to launch from a secret base on the far side of the moon. The ship was the smallest vessel that could hold Lisa's new engine, with just enough room for a crew of 4. William Grant and Lisa Carter were joined by 2 others, Captain Frank Reeves, an experienced space pilot, and Dr. Patricia Young, a xenolinguist who might help them understand alien communications better. Final. "Checks complete," Captain Reeves announced from the pilot's seat. "We're ready for launch." General Wright's voice came through the comm system. "Remember, this is a reconnaissance mission only. Get past the quarantine line, gather information about this Mavrock solution, and return. Do not engage with any alien vessels." "Understood, sir," Captain Reeves replied. The small ship lifted off silently, its special coating making it nearly invisible to normal sensors. They would need to pass through the USC blockade at the edge of the solar system, the most dangerous part of their journey. As they approached the quarantine line, tension filled the small bridge of the Defiance. 2 USC patrol ships ahead, William reported from his scanner. Standard patrol pattern. "Activating stealth systems," Captain Reeves said, flipping several switches. "Lisa, we'll need full power to the engine when we make our move." Lisa nodded, her fingers moving quickly over her control panel. "Ready when you are." The Defiance crept closer to the invisible line that humanity had not crossed in 5 years. The alien patrol ships continued their slow movement, unaware of the human vessel approaching. "Now," ordered Captain Reeves. Lisa activated her new engine. The ship lurched forward at incredible speed, passing between the two patrol ships before they could react. "They've spotted us," William called out as alarms began to sound. "They're turning to pursue." "Too late," Lisa said with a smile as the stars streaked past their view screen. "We're already faster than they are." Within minutes, the USC ships were left far behind, and the Defiance pushed deeper into space than any human ship had gone since the quarantine began. "Set course for Centauri Prime," Captain Reeves ordered. "According to our intelligence, it's a neutral trading hub. We might find information there." 3 days later, the Defiance approached a massive space station orbiting a blue-white star. Centauri Prime was bigger than any space structure humans had built, with thousands of ships coming and going. "How do we dock without being noticed?" Dr. Young asked. "They'll know we're human." William studied the station carefully. "Not all ships are using identification signals. Some look like smugglers. We could pretend to be independent traders from a distant system." Captain Reeves nodded. "It's risky, but it's our best option." They approached a less monitored docking area and managed to secure a berth without being questioned too closely. The 4 humans prepared to step onto the station, wearing clothing they hoped would help them blend in. "Remember," Dr. Young said, "we're looking for information about the Mavroks and this solution the USC is planning for Earth. Stay alert and meet back here in 3 hours." As they stepped onto Centauri Prime, none of them noticed the tall, thin alien watching them from the shadows, its skin briefly flashing with surprised recognition before it hurried away. Humanity had broken quarantine, and the galaxy was about to respond. Centauri Prime was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Hundreds of different alien species moved through the vast trading hub. Strange smells, sounds, and sights surrounded them from every direction. William Grant kept his head down, walking, close to Lisa Carter. They wore simple gray cloaks with hoods that partly hid their faces. "We should split up," Captain Reeves suggested quietly. "Dr. Young and I will check the public data terminals. You two try the trading areas. Someone might know about the Mavroks." William nodded. "Meet back at the ship in 3 hours." As they separated, Lisa looked at William with concern. "Do you think anyone will notice we're human? As long as we don't draw attention to ourselves, we should be fine. There are so many species here. One more probably won't stand out." They made their way to a busy market area. Aliens of all shapes and sizes traded goods from across the galaxy. William approached a vendor selling information chips. "I'm looking for historical data," William said, trying to sound casual, "specifically about species that faced quarantine by the USC. The vendor, a short, purple-skinned alien with 3 eyes, looked at him strangely. "That's restricted information. Why would you want that?" "Academic interest," William replied. "I study extinct civilizations." The vendor leaned closer. 50 credits, and I never saw you." William handed over the fake currency they had prepared. For the mission, the vendor passed him a small data chip. "Be careful where you view that," the vendor warned. "Some topics make powerful people nervous." Meanwhile, Lisa had wandered to a section where ship parts were sold. She examined various pieces of technology, noting how different they were from human designs. "You seem interested in propulsion systems," a voice said behind her. Lisa turned to see a tall, thin alien with blue-tinted skin. Her heart jumped. It was a Centauri, the same species they had first encountered 5 years ago. "Just browsing," she said, trying to stay calm. The Centauri's skin flickered with patterns of light. "You are human," he said quietly. Lisa froze. Should she run? But the Centauri raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "I am Zorleth. I have been hoping to meet your kind again." His voice was low. Not all Centauri agreed with the quarantine. Some of us have been watching, waiting. Waiting for what? Lisa asked carefully. For humans to break free. We need to talk, but not here. He handed her a small device. This will guide you to a safe place. Bring your companions. Before Lisa could respond, Zorleth melted into the crowd, leaving her holding the small navigator device. At the ship, all 4 humans gathered to share what they had learned. The public data terminals had almost nothing about the Mavrocks, Dr. Young reported, just that they were quarantined for being dangerously independent-minded. That sounds familiar, Captain Reeves said grimly. William inserted the data chip he had purchased into their ship's computer. Let's see what this tells us. The screen filled with information about several species that had been quarantined over thousands of years. The Mavrocks were just one of many. Look at this pattern, William pointed out. Every 300 years or so, a new species gets isolated from the galactic community, and eventually, they just disappear. Genocide, Dr. Young whispered, systematic and planned. Lisa showed them the navigator device. And I met a Satiri who wants to help us. He says not all of them support the quarantine. Captain Reeves looked suspicious. It could be a trap. Or our only chance to learn the truth, William countered. I vote we go. After some debate, they decided to follow the device's directions. It led them through quieter sections of the station, away from the busy markets and into an area that seemed rarely used. Finally, they reached a door that opened as they approached. Inside, they found not only Zorleth, but 3 other aliens, of different species. Welcome, humans, Zorleth said. These are my allies. We have been waiting a long time for your kind to join us. The next hour changed everything the humans thought they knew about the galaxy. Zorleth explained that the USC was not really run by its member species but by ancient beings called the Architects. The Architects evolved millions of years ago, Zorleth told them. They developed the ability to influence the thoughts of most intelligent species. Subtle control, guiding decisions without the subjects even knowing. Mind control? William asked. Not exactly. More like suggestion. Powerful suggestion that feels like your own thoughts. It created a peaceful galaxy, but at the cost of true freedom. One of the other aliens, a small green being with large eyes, spoke up. Some species are naturally immune to this influence. Humans are one of them. So were the Mavrocks. And what happened to the Mavrocks? Lisa asked, though she feared she knew the answer. When a species cannot be controlled, the Architects see them as a threat, Zorleth said sadly. The Mavrock solution was total sterilization of their planet. The humans sat in stunned silence. Why would they fear us that much? Doctor, Young finally asked. Because free minds spread dangerous ideas, Zorleth explained. If enough species realized they were being controlled, the Architect's system would collapse. So what do we do now? Captain Reeves asked. Go back to Earth and prepare for war? The Bi-Star green alien shook its head. War is what they expect. It would justify destroying your species entirely, William thought for a moment. We need a different approach. If humans are immune to this control, there must be others who are at least partially resistant. We could form an alliance. That is why we have been waiting for you, Zorleth said. There are more like us throughout the galaxy. Individuals who have broken free from the influence. With humanity's help, we could challenge the Architect's control. Just then, alarms began to sound throughout the station. What's happening? Lisa asked. Zorleth's skin pulsed with worried patterns. Your presence has been discovered. The station security is looking for humans. We need to get back to our ship, Captain Reeves said urgently. You cannot leave now, Zorleth insisted. USC ships will be waiting. Stay here until the door burst open. Armed security officers rushed in, weapons raised. All beings in this room are under arrest by order of USC Security Division, announced the lead officer, a tall insect-like creature. William looked at Lisa. They were too far from Earth to get help. Their mission had failed before it really began. But then Zorleth did something unexpected. His skin flashed with brilliant patterns and he stepped forward. "These humans are under my diplomatic protection," he declared. "By USC law, section 12, paragraph 4. Any being may claim sanctuary with a diplomatic representative." The security officers hesitated, looking at each other in confusion. "You have no diplomatic status," the lead officer finally said. Zorleth pulled out an official-looking badge. "I am third envoy to the Centauri Diplomatic Corps. Check your records." After a tense moment, the lead officer checked a device on his wrist. His compound eyes widened. "Verification confirmed," he admitted reluctantly. "But they cannot stay on this station. You must remove them immediately." "Of course," Zorleth agreed. "My ship is ready for departure." As the security team withdrew, the humans looked at Zorleth in amazement. "You're really a diplomat?" William asked. "A minor one, but yes. Now quickly, we must leave. The architects will have agents on their way already." "But our ship," Lisa began, "must be left behind. The USC will be watching it." Zorleth led them through a hidden door at the back of the room. "Come. The galaxy needs humanity's help more than you know." Ambassador Catherine Mitchell stood at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel, Unity, watching the stars streak by. 3 years had passed since humanity broke through the containment barrier. In that time, Earth had established 5 thriving colonies on nearby worlds. The Alliance had responded with increased patrols and threatening messages, but no direct attacks. Not yet. "Ambassador, we're approaching the Viridian outpost," said Lieutenant Paul Harris from his station. "They've acknowledged our transmission and granted permission to dock." Catherine nodded, smoothing her formal uniform. This meeting could change everything. Intelligence reports suggested the Viridians were another species quarantined by the Galactic Alliance. If true, humans might not be alone in their struggle. "Remember," she told her team, "we know very little about their culture. No sudden movements. No showing teeth if they don't smile first." The Unity docked with surprising smoothness against the angular Viridian station. When the airlock opened, Catherine found herself face to face with aliens unlike any humans had encountered before. They stood nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent exoskeletons and 4 arms. Their compound eyes shimmered with intelligence. "We welcome the Earthborn," said the lead Viridian in perfect English. "I am Speaker Zix. We have much to discuss." Inside the station, Catherine learned the truth. The Viridians had been contained for over 300 years. Like humans, they evolved on what the Alliance called a death world, a planet with harsh conditions, numerous predators, and extreme weather patterns. "The softshells fear what they do not understand," Speaker Zix explained, using their term for Alliance species. "They evolved on gentle worlds with few threats. They never needed to develop resilience, strength, or your human adaptability." Dr. Emma Woods, the team's anthropologist, leaned forward. "So this is about evolution? They fear us because we survived difficult conditions?" "Precisely. The Alliance species believe that any creature evolved to survive harsh worlds must be inherently dangerous. They contain rather than connect." General Daniel Rivera, who had insisted on joining the diplomatic mission, crossed his arms. "We've detected 7 other containment barriers in this sector alone. How many species have they imprisoned?" "At least 30 that we know of," replied Zix. "Some have been contained for thousands of years." Catherine felt a chill. This wasn't just about Earth. This was systemic oppression based on biological differences. Over the next few months, Catherine's team established contact with other contained species, the crystalline Novali, the amphibious Srel, and the gas-based Aromi. Each had evolved unique survival traits that terrified the Alliance. Each had been judged too dangerous for free galactic travel. On the colony world of New Hope, representatives from 6 dangerous species gathered in secret. Commander Ryan Cooper provided security while Ambassador Mitchell proposed a radical idea. "We call it the Fringe Coalition," she explained to the gathered aliens. Not an alliance against the Galactic Alliance, but a united voice demanding recognition and rights. The representatives agreed cautiously. The coalition was born. Through shared technology and resources, coalition scientists gained access to Alliance communication networks. What they discovered surprised everyone. They're not evil. Emma Woods explained during a coalition briefing. The Alliance species genuinely believe they're protecting the galaxy. Most of them evolved on worlds with stable climates, minimal predators, and abundant resources. Their bodies are fragile by our standards. Their psychology prioritizes harmony. Above all, she displayed images of various Alliance homeworlds, paradise planets with mild weather and few natural disasters. What we consider normal survival traits they see as weapons of war, she continued. Human adrenaline response? To them it's berserker combat programming. Viridian regeneration? They see it as biological warfare capability. Catherine considered this information carefully. So this isn't malice, it's fear. Exactly. Emma nodded. They're terrified of us. General Rivera wasn't convinced. Afraid or not, they've imprisoned dozens of species, and now we're intercepting communications about fleet movements near our territory. He brought up tactical displays showing hundreds of Alliance vessels gathering at strategic points around human space. They're debating whether to neutralize us before we spread further, he explained grimly. Some factions push for peace, others for containment, and a growing number for direct military action. Catherine felt the weight of responsibility. Humanity had broken free, established colonies, and formed the coalition. The Alliance saw this as confirmation of their fears, that humans were aggressive expansionists who would eventually threaten galactic peace. We need to show them they're wrong about us, she said finally. Not through force, but through understanding. While Earth prepared its defenses, Catherine pursued a different strategy. She authorized Commander Ryan Cooper's team to contact sympathetic Alliance members. Through these channels, they discovered something crucial. Not all Alliance species supported containment policies. Cooper's team made breakthrough contact with the Luminari, philosophers of the Alliance who questioned the ethics of species containment. Through them, Catherine sent a request directly to the Alliance Council, a request for peaceful dialogue. When the response came, it surprised everyone. The Alliance agreed to send representatives to a neutral location, but with conditions. Their massive fleet would remain positioned around human space, ready to strike if they perceived any threat. Aboard the diplomatic vessel Unity, Catherine prepared her team for the most important meeting in human history. We need to help them understand us, she told her staff, not as monsters from a death world, but as people who value peace precisely because we know the cost of conflict. Dr. Woods nodded. Their psychology is fundamentally different. They value consensus and harmony above all. The concept of constructive conflict doesn't exist for them. Then we show them who we really are, Catherine said, not who they fear we might be. As the Unity approached the meeting point, Alliance scanners detected unusual activity. A small human scout ship had somehow bypassed their most advanced defenses and positioned itself near one of their core worlds. Panic spread through Alliance command. This confirmed their worst fears. Humans were unpredictable, dangerous, impossible to contain. In the midst of this crisis, Catherine's diplomatic shuttle docked with the Alliance vessel. When the doors opened, she walked forward alone, unarmed, to face representatives of 27 alien species who believed humans were the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. The misunderstanding that had kept species apart for thousands of years might finally be resolved, or it might lead to a war that would change the galaxy forever. Zorleth's ship was smaller than the Defiance but moved quickly through space. The four humans sat in the main cabin, still processing everything they had learned. We need to warn Earth, Captain Reeves said. If the architects are planning to use this Mavrock solution against us, everyone needs to prepare. I've been trying to send a message, William replied, working at a communications panel. But something is blocking our signals. Lisa studied the ship's engine system with fascination. This technology is different from anything I've seen before. It was designed by the Lumina, Zorleth explained. They are partially resistant to the architect's influence and have developed technologies in secret. Dr. Young looked up from a data screen. Where are we going? To Vega Prime, Zorleth said. There is a hidden base there. Other resistant species have gathered. It's where we've been planning our move against the architects. How many are you? William asked. Not enough. But with humans joining us, others may find courage. The journey took 3 days. When they finally arrived, the humans were amazed to see a small fleet of ships hiding in an asteroid field around a distant star. They docked at a station built inside one of the larger asteroids. Inside the base, they found dozens of aliens, from at least 10 different species working together. Some looked at the humans with hope, others with suspicion. A tall, reptilian being approached them. So these are the humans, he said in a rough voice. I am Krell, leader of the Vork. My people have been fighting the architect's influence for generations. The Vork were one of the first species to partly break free, Zorleth explained. They've been helping others for centuries. Krell led them to a large meeting room where representatives from each species had gathered. The humans were asked to explain Earth's situation. 5 years ago, we were quarantined after a misunderstanding with the Centauri, Captain Reeves told them. Since then, we've been building our defenses, expecting an attack. And now we know about the Mavrock solution, William added. We believe the USC is planning to sterilize Earth, just as they did to the Mavrocks. This caused concerned murmurs around the room. Then we have little time, said a crystalline being that glowed with inner light. The architects never wait long once they decide a species must be eliminated. We need to get back to Earth, Lisa insisted. We have to warn them. Krell nodded. Yes, but not alone. It is time for our alliance to act openly. We will send ships with you. What good will that do against the entire USC fleet? Dr. Young asked. We don't need to fight them all, Zorleth said. We need to expose the truth. Many species in the USC don't know they're being controlled. If they learn about the architect's manipulation, they might join us. The meeting continued for hours as they formed a plan. Meanwhile, at Earth, everything was about to change. Admiral Susan Miller stood on the bridge of Earth's largest battleship, the Defender. Around her, the combined fleet of Earth's nations prepared for battle. Status report, she ordered. 50 USC ships have entered the solar system, Admiral. Her second-in-command reported. They're heading directly for Earth. Susan had been expecting this day for years. After the Defiance failed to return from its mission, Earth's leaders decided they could wait no longer. They would break the quarantine by force if necessary. All ships battle positions, Susan ordered. Remember your training. We're fighting for our very survival today. The USC fleet approached slowly, clearly not expecting serious resistance. Their ships were larger than Earth's vessels, but Earth had spent 5 years preparing for this moment. They're sending a message, the communications officer announced. Put it on screen, Susan ordered. A stern alien face appeared, the same one that had announced Earth's quarantine 5 years earlier. People of Earth, your quarantine violations can no longer be tolerated. Submit to USC authority immediately, or face the consequences. Susan stepped forward. This is Admiral Susan Miller of Earth Defense Force. We do not recognize your authority to restrict humanity. We demand the right to travel freely among the stars, as all intelligent species should. Your species is dangerous, the alien replied. You resist proper guidance and spread disorder. This cannot be allowed. By guidance, you mean control, Susan said firmly. We know about the architects. We know what happened to the Mavrocks. We will not share their fate. The alien's face showed surprise. How did you? The transmission cut off. They're powering weapons, reported the tactical officer. All ships, defensive formation, Susan ordered. Return fire only when fired upon. The USC ships fired first, powerful energy beams streaking toward Earth's fleet. But Earth's ships were faster and more maneuverable than the aliens expected. The humans had studied the limited data they had on USC technology and developed countermeasures. Minimal damage to outer ships, reported the tactical officer. Our shields are holding. Launch fighters, Susan ordered. Hundreds of small, fast fighter ships launched from Earth's larger vessels, swarming toward the USC fleet in a pattern the aliens had never encountered before. The USC ships tried to target them but couldn't lock onto the quick, erratic movements of Earth's fighters. Now, Susan ordered. The fighters fired specially designed missiles that attached to the hulls of the USC ships. Rather than exploding, they deployed devices that disrupted the ship's power systems. 8 enemy ships disabled, the tactical officer reported with surprise. They're just drifting. The USC fleet hadn't expected such effective resistance. Their formation broke as they tried to adapt to Earth's unusual tactics. Just then, the communications officer called out, "Admiral, multiple ships appearing at the edge of the system." Susan felt her heart sink. If the USC had brought reinforcements, Earth might not survive after all. But as the new ships approached, they didn't join the USC fleet. Instead, they positioned themselves between Earth and the attackers. "We're receiving a transmission from one of the new vessels," said the communications officer. When the screen activated, Susan was shocked to see a human face, William Grant. "Admiral Miller," William said. "Sorry we're late. We've brought some friends who also have problems with the USC's leadership." The screen widened to show Sorleth, Krell, and other alien representatives standing with the humans from the Defiance. "What is happening here?" demanded the USC commander, joining the communication. Sorleth stepped forward. "The truth is happening. Commander, many species are learning that they've been manipulated by the architects for centuries. The resistance is growing." More ships began appearing, vessels from dozens of different worlds. Some were USC members whose crews had broken free from the architects' influence when they learned the truth. The USC commander looked shaken. "This is treason against the Council." "No," William replied. "This is freedom for the galaxy. The real threat was never humanity. It was the control you never knew you were under." As the USC fleet hesitated, caught between their original mission and this unexpected development, Susan gave the order that would change everything. "All Earth ships, stand with our new allies. Today we fight not just for humanity but for the free will of all species in the galaxy."